Alright, welcome to my newest video. This one's going to be on Johnson Matthey fractional pieces. This is by no means a complete collection. It's going to be a work in progress. Probably never will be finished as new discoveries are being made from time to time. But this collection does represent some of the rarest pieces that I've ever seen as far as Johnson Matthey silver fractional bars goes. So I thought it'd be appropriate to start off the video with one of the most common bars, fractional sizes that Johnson Matthey makes, and that's the 5 gram with the logo back. Now you guys have seen dozens of these available every single day on eBay. You could buy as many as your bank account would allow you to buy, and it is a really neat bar, and they do sell for a pretty good premium still. I would say something in the sealed condition like this would probably sell for between $15 and $20 on average on eBay, with outliers of course. So I think Atmex has these for sale at 25 bucks a piece, and they do sell at that price, which is kind of mind-boggling, but whatever. So that's one of the most common bars that you can find in the fractional size. So I'm going to go no real particular order. I'm just going to go from some of the most common to some of the most rare. So this first wave of bars will be some of the easier stuff to find. This is a 1 gram silver Johnson Matthey with the regular back. And these aren't easy to find. I mean, once in a while they'll pop up, and you just got to be, right timing to find them. They go for about, they're going for pretty strong prices lately. I would say in the high 30s, mid 20s to high 30s. But they've really been sold in the $30 range these days. Here's a half ounce. This is another bar that's seen a pretty nice surgence. Used to be able to pick these up for 25 bucks a piece. Now they're going close to $50 each just for the normal half ounce. This is a logo back. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is by no means a complete collection. There is also a plain back in which the fine and silver are on two different lines, and this rectangle kind of becomes more of a square. So that would be the older variety. This is the newer variety. And none of these bars, of course, are being made anymore. Most of these bars date back to the early 80s to mid 80s. So the next one I want to show you is JM&M. That's Johnson Matthey and Mallory. On a previous video that I did about 9 or 10 years ago or so, I didn't know what JM&M was. So it is true that you do learn something every day. But that stands for Johnson, Matthey, and Mallory. This was prior to Johnson Matthey. So this bar here probably predates 1980. This is a 20 gram bar. They come in 10 gram sizes also, and some other really weird sizes. It's just a plain back. Another common bar would be this Johnson Matthey 10 gram bar. Now this is what I was talking about with the fine and silver on two separate lines. More of a square than a rectangle. This would be an earlier production bar with a plain back as opposed to a logo back. And there's something else interesting about this 10 gram bar which we'll get to in a little bit. So we'll put that off to the side for right now. Let's start getting into some of the little bit tougher bars to find. Most of you guys that are watching this video are aware of the shipwreck bar. This bar was made with silver recovered from a shipwreck. Now, all Engelhart is one of the foremost authorities or resources on rare bullion bars, predominantly Engelhart. Again, that's allengelhart.com or whatever. It's just a resource site. They don't sell anything, but they do offer a lot of information, and a lot of it is speculation. And anybody that really collects, bars like this and stuff will tell you that it's mostly guesswork. I mean, it's logical guesswork, but still guesswork at the same. So they have the mintage on this. They said they've never seen a serial number higher than 7,000 on this particular bar. So they estimate the mintage to be under 7,000. It's a plain back. And these are becoming more and more expensive. You'll see these sell for close to $100 or even over $100 now on eBay. Here's a bar. This is a 5 gram. Looks like a 5 gram in the front, the old style. But you'll notice this is the oil derrick with heart. USA bar, and this one is extremely, in my opinion, extremely underrated, because these have been selling lately for in the high 30s, just below 40 bucks. So if you, and they're many times more rare than the regular 5 gram bar. Many times more rare. In fact, they are at least as rare as the shipwreck bars. And when I say this stuff, this is all from personal experience of doing this on and off now for over 10 years. Pieces that I've come across. And even during those 10 years that I wasn't actively buying or selling anything, I was still tracking the market. And from my personal experience, I have seen probably even fewer of these than the shipwreck bars. And this bar sells for $20 on average, approximately. And this one only sells for $40? Come on. So this one, the oil derrick bar, is a true bargain right now at that price. So whenever you see these pop up on eBay, which isn't too often, in auction, I would put a nice strong bid of all the way up to 50 bucks on something like that. I would recommend, because I think that's still a bargain at 50. All right, so we will next go to, now these bars are getting a little bit rarer and rarer as we go along. Like I said, it's not in specific particular order, but this is a 10 gram bar. Alright, it looks real beat up, and it is real beat up. And it's a 4-digit serial. And on the back is Nurco. This is a Nurco bar. And these are pretty tough. And you'll see that this, like I said, this is a 4-digit serial. There's also a Nurco that's a 5-digit serial. So it's a 5-digit serial Nurco. And this is not sealed. It is cracked, but the bar is in pristine condition. You'll notice that the devices are frosted, almost like a proof coin, because they really didn't make very many of these. So how many, whatever ones they produced, are going to have that frosted-like appearance. And you will see there is differences here. Look at the O in Nurco at the very end there. On this one, you'll see it's a wide open O, and this one it's a tighter O. And I mean, the font completely across the board. The N, the E, I mean, all the letters are different. So these are two distinctive type bars. So this is a 4-digit serial and a 5-digit serial. Or 6-digit, actually, isn't it? It's got 5 numbers, but it's got a 0 preceding it. So it is a 6-digit number bar. So those are definitely distinctive. Now what I wanted to show you is on that previous 10 gram bar I showed you. Now Johnson Matthey also makes a 10 gram bar with a logo back. And it's this dimension. Now you'll notice the other one, the other 10 gram bar that I showed you, was short and stocky. So it's a much thicker bar, and it's shorter, and it's more narrow, but it's thicker. So there are several different 10 gram variations. I wish I had them all to show you, but like I said, it's a work in progress. So after those Nurco bars, let's take a look at, this is kind of a cool one. Another 10 gram bar. This one is a 25 years Wisconsin cheese bar, dated February of 1986. So, which makes it, what, about 32 years old. Beautiful bar. There is a lot of variation in the 10 gram size for Johnson Matthey, and there's probably stuff out there that we don't even know about yet, because it just is so rare and obscure. I mean, I've seen others of like this bar out there, but they just don't pop up very often at all. You know, good luck finding one. So we'll put that one down, and we're going to go to the next level of what I perceive to be some of the rarer bars. And we'll start off with this guy here. This is a little 1 gram Johnson Matthey Royal Bank. And you can see the Johnson Matthey logo right here. Oops. And on the reverse, pick that bad boy up. There's the Royal Bank logo. Fine silver 999, 1 gram. That is a really tough bar. I mean, they do pop up, and when they pop up, they're usually close to about $100 for this 1 gram bar. So, and I personally believe that is a pretty good price. I mean, if you can get it for under $100, you're doing very well on that. Okay. Here's another really tough bar. These you might see one a year, if that, on eBay, maybe one a year. This is a 100 grains bar. It's just over 6 grams. There's 480 grains in a troy ounce. And for some reason, Johnson, Matthey, and Mallory made a 100 grain bar and a 50 grain bar. I do not have the 50 grain bar. Really would love to buy one. If one of you guys watching this video has an extra, let me know. So this is a 100 grain bar, like I said, just over 6 grams, and they probably come up about once a year. Tough bar. So, and you know, these next bars that I'm going to show you, if you really want one and you see it for sale, you need to jump on it, because the stuff I'm showing you now is, you know, once a year, once every 5 years, maybe even once. I hate to sound, you know, melodramatic, but maybe once in a lifetime to find some of this stuff. So when you see it, if you really need it for your collection, forget about the price. Just buy it, as long as you don't have to, like, you know, dip into the college education fund for your kids, or mortgage your house or something like that. If you got extra money, don't haggle over the prices. These bars have nothing to do with the price of silver. You need to completely disconnect that from your mindset. These are entering the realm of ultra rare U.S. coinage. And some of these examples that I'm going to show you, here's one. There's a perfect example right here. Johnson Matthey. Let's talk about the bars. This is a 1/2 ounce. And this is the Swish Window Company promotional bar. Now, all Engelhart, again, is speculation. We all, you know, most of us agree and acknowledge that it's speculation. They speculate that there was fewer than 50 of these ever made. Not 50 that still exist today, but 50 that were ever made. So how many of these, if we accept that number, how many of these could still possibly be around, you know, 35 plus years later? You know, that weren't lost, melted, whatever. And of the 50 that survived, how many of them survived in the plastic like this, sealed, completely sealed? And of those, how many are in knowledgeable collectors' hands? In other words, there might be a few of these in London somewhere, in back room of a coin shop, junk drawer, where the guy doesn't even know what he's got. You know, they're just undiscovered pieces. So, you know, if you whittle all the attrition down like that, there just can't be very many of these examples in the world like this. The 1/2 ounce Swish window bar, sealed like this. And I paid a lot of money for this bar. I mean, I paid $350 for a 1/2 ounce of silver. And some of my buddies who are into bullion think you are nuts, man. $350 for a 1/2 ounce of silver? Jesus. But in reality, if this was a U.S. coin with those kind of numbers, how much do you think it would be worth? I mean, we're talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars if it was a U.S. coin. So I'm getting the rarity of some of the rarest, you know, possible U.S. coins in silver form from Johnson Matthey, and we're not talking about you know, some obscure refiner in Pennsylvania. You know, we're talking about Johnson Matthey, which is arguably part of the Coke Pepsi dynamic of bullion, with Engelhart being the Coke or the Pepsi and Johnson Matthey being the other. This is one of the most sought after and collectible refiners in the world, and they don't make bars anymore. You know, so we're talking about one of the top premium refiner bars in a mintage of 50 or less. Like I said, just disconnect your price from the price of silver. It doesn't even matter what the silver prices are. So that was an extremely rare bar. I'm going to show you another extremely rare bar. This is, to me, newly discovered. I've never seen one prior to about 2 months ago. And I've personally seen 6 of these bars. And this is one of those 6. So I know for a fact that there are at least 6 of these in existence, and I'm sure there are many more. I'm sure of it. But I don't know what company Johnson Matthey was commissioned by to make this bar, but Johnson Matthey's logo is right down there in the corner. And it just is beautiful bullion bar. And the weight and the fineness are also in there underneath that logo. And on the back, it's got a picture of a cute little panda with heart-shaped eyes sitting on a yin-yang ball and holding some kind of leaf or branch, probably a bamboo shoot. It's really, really pretty, and it's pretty obscure. The biggest knock I have against this particular bar is that it's not serial numbered. And that, you know, it's nice to have serial numbers just to keep track of, you individual pieces. Because what's neat is you'll see a bar sell 3 years ago, and you know it's a really rare bar, and then you'll see another bar just like it sell this year, and you could actually see yourself, I think I saw that bar sell 3 or 4 years ago, and you look and it's the exact same bar because you can tell by the serial numbers. There's accountability. There's no accountability with these. But it is an extremely rare bar, like I said. I only know of 6 personally. I'm sure there are plenty more than that, but you don't see them pop up very often. So another extremely rare bar coming up here. And let's go to this one here first. This guy here is another bar that prior to about a year ago I didn't even know existed. This is a 1/10 ounce Johnson Matthey silver bar. Super, super rare. I only know of 3 of these in existence. 2 of them sold back in August as a pair on eBay, and this one sold by the same seller to somebody else prior to that, and then it came into my possession. And again, because it's got that serial number, this is A0130, and A0127 and A0128 are the other 2 examples that I know of. Because they have serial numbers, you can track them, you can trace them, you can follow them around between different owners and different sales and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. It has a logo back, and I've never seen one of these. I've only seen 3 of them, this being one of them. I would imagine they were issued in plastic, but I'm not sure about that. They might have been some type of promotional piece, because if there was any kind of production run on these, we would see a lot more. So that's a very rare bar. Next up, let's go with this guy here. This is a really cool one. So, just a regular old 5 gram bar, right? 0209. Oh, well, wait a second. What's on the back? Oh yeah, look at that. Spectronic Superstar. This is a great bar. I've seen other bars, but just not for sale. So this is the only one that I've ever bought that was offered for sale, and it was through a private sale. So these things just don't pop up very often at all. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're serious about this type of stuff, you want to put together a really, really nice collection, you got to forget about price. You can't say to yourself, oh my God, $250 for 5 grams of silver. What are you, not? You can't say that to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Think about it. Most of you guys transition from coins to bars or back and forth or whatever. Maybe you do both at the same time. Just think of all the U.S. coins that you've bought in your lifetime that cost $250 or more, and just how easy they would be to replace if you ever decide to sell them. I mean, take a common date Barber dime and MS64 just as an example. I don't even know, I haven't kept up with current U.S. coin prices, but let's just say a Barber dime and MS64 for $250. You could replace those all day long. You could buy it and sell it every single day, literally. You could buy one day and then sell it the next day, and then buy a new one the next day, and then sell that the next day, and so on and so forth. And they're about $250. This is something that you might see available maybe once every 5 years. So when it becomes available to you, you have to jump on the opportunity. Otherwise, it's you're not going to have that opportunity again in a long time. So the next bar we're going to go with is another 1 gram bar. Oops, got it upside down here. This is a Johnson Matthey silver 1 gram bar. Oh, I'm losing my focus here. Someone opened the door on me and changed my lighting. And it's a First Union bar from First Union Bank. So again, All Engelhart gives that estimated mintage figures, and they estimate this one at 1,000 bars. But the estimated mintage on a regular 1 gram bar, according to them, is under 10,000. There is no way that this is 10 to 1. There is no way. I've personally owned over 100 of these in my collection at one point. I've only seen one of these in my entire 10 years of collecting. Okay, so I know for a fact that it's not a 10 to 1 ratio, unless these are sitting in somebody's basement somewhere. So that is a beautiful bar. The Johnson Matthey First Union 1 gram bank bar. Very tough find. The final rare bar here is, one moment, I'll be right back. final bar here is an extremely special bar. Probably the rarest bar in my collection, recently acquired. And this thing is baffling. So what we have here is a 5 gram Johnson Matthey fractional silver bar. But look at that, 4 nines. Also, it's got a place for a serial number, but it doesn't have a serial number stamped into it. And when we look at the normal size 5 gram bar, this one's a lot shorter, narrower, and thicker. Hard to tell from the video. This one weighs out at 5.02 grams, so it is the correct weight. I have not gotten it Sigma tested yet for the proper purity. That's on my to-do list. On the back, you'll see it's a plain back with like a pebbled type surface. Okay. This was taken out of a pendant. You can see it's a jewelry piece. It has the marks from the prongs set in a pendant, unfortunately. But stuff like that doesn't even really matter when you're talking about bars like this. This is, in my best estimation, for 4 reasons. The 4 reasons are the non-standard size, the 4 nines for the silver, the no serial number, and the fact that I have never seen one anywhere else ever, for sale or not. This leads me to believe that this particular piece was some type of prototype, a failed concept bar, if you will, right before they started to make their production run of the 5 gram bars. I'm sure they had a couple different designs that they were thinking about using, and this one won out and this one failed for whatever reason. And I believe that this may be the only one in the world. There may be others. I don't know. This is all speculation. But this bar is so rare that it's not even attributed on All Engelhart's site. They don't even have this bar listed. So I know it's at least that rare. Someday I'm going to get around to maybe taking a few pictures and sending it to All Engelhart so they can put it up on their site. But I really believe this is a prototype for those reasons mentioned. So I will Sigma test it sometime in the next couple weeks and see if the composition is silver. But this is an outstanding bar. So that'll do it as far as the collection goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully in another year or two I can make another updated video with some of the new purchases, because like I said, this is going to be a work in progress for a long time. I've got a lot of really great stuff here, but I'm missing a lot of really great stuff still. So hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.